So I'll share a little personal story and then I'll turn it into a question for you two. So for much of my life, I really operated on some sort of kind of blind instinct. I didn't really understand why I was doing the things I was doing day to day. So there were things that I thought I wanted in life, and I was, again, trying to do whatever I could and be strategic and clever and cunning to get those things in life without really understanding what was underneath that. So in that period of my life, I felt like I did not have self leadership because I didn't fully understand what was driving my behavior or how to change my behavior. And over time, I've realized that actually I can understand and shift the things that I desire. And I can also shift the way I behave. And ultimately, it changes the outcome in my life. So I'm going to start with Krisana. Where do you feel like you started to pick up on your own self leadership? Was there a moment in time or some experiences that helped you develop your inner leadership, your self leadership?
I was just saying this the other day to Mazen that my self leadership started when I was very young. I used to do a lot of sailing in small boats, in these small sailboats. So I had to learn the water, the ocean, but not going far out in the ocean. And I had to learn how to sail, how to be in a boat with my brother, and find tactical ways to move in a racing boat course. I guess at that time I was 8 years old. So it was also waking up and having to know, what the wind's going to be like, and then, racing, where you're going to start the race. But a lot of my self leadership and inner leadership, I had good mirroring and parenting from my father, because he supported in a beautiful way on not I do this, but to go out there and to study, to feel the weather, the ocean, to start to learn how you are. So I would say, yeah, from 8 years of age, I was put into a position to discover all this. Of course, we made mistakes, but it was also very interactive with other little boats and people following, other kids following you in their boats, and understanding in this complexity of sailing and being challenged. And it wasn't ever about winning. It was really at that time just trying to work it all out, that you're in the boat. So that's when it started.
Hmm. And
So
Mazen, how
quite
about yourself?
I was so immersed in Krisana's explanation that I forgot what you asked actually, and I was happy. While in it, I was self-aware. There was awareness that happened. I'm like, what was the question? Should I prepare? And then I remembered, no, I'm in full listening, full presence, and I will dare to, yeah, ask again. Please ask.
Beautiful. Thank you. So, is there a moment in life where you started to feel your self leadership, your inner leadership emerge?
Pooh. That's a tough one for me. That's a complete opposite of Krisana's experience. It took me ages. I come from a more I had more events in my life that were more harsher for my small physical body and nervous system to deal with it. I can tell you more about non-self leadership, how I was, and that was the most thing that helped me later on to understand and then find healthy regulation, healthy life, healthy relating. But
So, can
yeah,
you give us a small example of something that was the opposite of self leadership in your life?
do you have 2 hours for the first one?
Small
For the
example.
first episode. No, I went the other route. I went more the darkness route, the negativity, the fear. I went through the fear route. So I can explain about how fear stripped me out completely from my own self leadership and leadership. later on, I say those words after so many years of releasing my trauma, understanding myself, studying, doing my PhD, understanding the body in and out. And then I'm like, at the end, still at the end of all of that, I was still struggling. And then I had really to go in deeper to understand the root of it all. The root of it all was really based in fear. The fear was happening around me, around 4 years and a half, 5 years and a half old of age, and the fear stripped me away from my own inner leadership. If you don't mind, I would like to use for myself the word inner leadership. I feel more comfortable saying it than self-leadership. They can be interchangingly using it, but yeah, I feel, see, this is part of my self-leadership, requesting that I would like to use better the word inner leadership. I like words and I like to relate to them. So it's more by fear stripping away that actually power within of, I became disempowered. From disempowerment to victim, very fast to victim. So this is my first memory from coming as a child, being in trust, in like, trust was not a word because when we don't have something opposing to it, you won't question it. I was living, life was, and then something happened and my trust vanished like poof. And then I learned what the word trust is by losing it. And fear took over. And from that moment, victimhood. And that's it. That's my journey that took me probably around 26 years to release that trauma of victimhood and the trauma of that event. We can speak about it, the event if needed, but now it's not needed probably. But just, yeah, and then I held that event and that mistrust that happened within me and about others and adults and everything. 26 years it was trapped in my body. So I would really honestly say 26 years I had non-inner leadership, non-self-leadership. But I was thriving, I was trying, I used everything possible. I used substances, I used friends, I used the mind a lot. And then I ended up using the mind the most to understand. And yeah, I didn't succeed, but I collected so much data and it gave me so much relaxation. Then the moment where I had really to dive in and really feel it, to get back to my own inner leadership, I had built trust along the way within my own body, within my own organism, so I could sit and allow that. And then the journey of self-leadership, I would say it started, yeah, like the most healthy way started in my arriving to Berlin when I was 30 years of age. And then the moment, actually, I had 2 weeks coming in. But anyhow, I knew I'm coming here to transform something. And self-leadership started. The best thing ever happened to me. And then I can tell you everything after 30 when it comes to self-leadership. And before 30, battling with my own darkness, seeing it as bad, as negative as bad. And later on, understand, actually, no, it was really the disempowerment that made me see negative emotion as bad, and then really be enmeshed in my own darkness, identifying with it and not understanding it's part of me. I have to let go to it and love who I am.
Yes. Thank you. I have a similar probably story to you in the sense of it took me many, many years to come to some of those principles of inner leadership, self-leadership. And it was really through the experience I had working with the two of you and going to your workshops on personal development and leadership development that I started to awaken the leader within and understand that, again, if I can really listen to myself and listen very carefully, I can start to really understand, and something emerges in inner awareness. And from there, I can detect why I want certain things and how to modulate that. It was the first time in my life I understood how to start to relate with the world in a conscious way.